Good morning. Here I am, Ilok, in Croatia. I'm on the Croatian side of the town, Ilok. I just wanted to explain something very unusual that happened. This particular message is actually for all the leaders of nations that are called sovereign and sovereign nations. This land was a sovereign once before. It was called the great mighty Yugoslavia. And today I'm sitting on a castle ruins here, and it is very poignant time of our history of humans here on earth, about borders, boundaries, and sovereignty. And if we were to hold on to our sovereignty, our borders are what is the key. Where is the border on a motherland? I did a different video before, but this particularly goes to the Western nations like America, the greatest democracy and the freedom of the free words and the free movement of the speaking the mind. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because it is important this time that we speak the truth. And the very reality that I'm doing this here is after 55 years, I had a very horrible experience of to be here. But the people have been absolutely wonderful. Human beings are in many different stages of our lives and many different ways and experience of our life, but after this experience, I'm not in any way hurt or in any way has an animosity or anger towards any one particular nation or in its people. But I'm actually sharing this because of an individual. Yes, these days the individuals, particularly the leaders at the top, just like that, the individuals are interested in their own self-interest in harming the other. Maybe by intent, maybe to hold on to the power and greed of their entire way of lived, how they lived and how they have constructed their ideologies and ideas about life. But I'm sharing this because, and for that reason alone, you can see the ruins, is because one's idea and the ideology has destroyed most of what we have today, as we call it, ruins. So going back almost 3 centuries or two, not 3 centuries, 3 decades thereabout, one land was separated into 2 pieces of a sovereign land because the people fought one's idea or one's way of life and divided themselves, and that division has caused people to suspect anyone who doesn't look like them. And this is one of the problems. On the outside, you may not look, but on the inside, we beat the same way. Our heart beats, our blood flows around in the same way. And the species of all kinds are variedly different, yet when it comes to humans, we're the only ones who can be. So I sat down here on this broken Roman wall, an old, not a Roman wall, old castle wall, and sharing this. Yesterday, as with everywhere I go, people are always curious and they say hello, how are you? And particularly with the youngsters, and these days they all love to speak English when they see a foreigner of any kind. However they look, doesn't matter. If they don't look like you, they would say hello and how are you? And particularly the teenagers these days with their TikToks and influencers and other things and social media that has brought them things so close to one another and each other, and they can see how people around the world live even without traveling there. And it's through one individual influencer or one person who speaks like me around the world. And so they got interacted, and I was having a conversation with them. for about 5 to 10 minutes. And suddenly, that's after being through down there by the river and then across to tiny little villages of the wineries and the farms that are around here. And on my way back, these kids were interacting with me, and 5, 6 boys, cheeky, because they speak some words of English. They wanted to be cheeky with you because they picked it up from either American, British, or idiots like me. So, and then they say, are you blogging? Are you on Instagram? Are you on YouTube? So I said, I post everything on YouTube. And they kind of got too excited and start giving me information about this village and where to go, high points to look out and get great views of the entire land, and so on and so forth. And then suddenly a police officer turned up in plain clothes, stopped the car just by the corner of this teeny little village, and said, showed his police ID, and says, I'm a police officer, where's your ID? I said, sorry, it's in the car. And and with a lady with some notebooks and so on. So whilst I was having this conversation with the kids, I told them, did a little video, you will see it. And I said, you all have this generation. Once the old generation, there's an elderly man passing by. I said, once the elderly, your grandpa, your parents leave, you must look after this land, because your grandparents, your parents fought for a land that was with borders and boundaries, and now it is time for you to take care of these buildings and do them up and make them into historical features, just like these walls that have been preserved now through the European Union grants, like these walls. And you need to promote your heritage, the old time that you fought for. Your grandparents and your forefathers have done so. Anyway, so we walked to the car and I showed them my passport ID. And the lady looked at it, and straight away, less than a minute, because you're not supposed to have your passport in a hotel or anyone's hand for more than a minute unless it is necessary. And she said, and have a nice little trip. And the gentleman, we shook hands and everything. So as we were walking to the car, I said, he says, why do you want to check my passport? I said, I can notice that I'm the only one on this eastern side of the Ukrainian border with Serbia. And he said, yeah, many immigrants, many illegals. I said, do I look like an illegal? Of course, unless you prove yourself to and nothing to hide, just like I am. I have absolutely nothing to hide with anyone. I said, by all means, I will, it's in the car. So I showed them, and they looked at it and they said, have a nice trip. And I said, my next destination will be towards Croatia, capital Zagreb, through small towns and villages like this, because it's curious to see how the country have moved on after the wars on this land, and how the people are so kind and caring and looking after me and been giving me information what to do, where to see, what to experience, the food wise and so on. And I shook hand with both of the officers, and they went on their way. And I said, thank you for keeping the land, the borders safe, and the people in this community safe. That's my key words to the two officers. And next thing is that I drive, and then the kids giving me information, and they put locations and destination markers on my phone for me to visit around here. And then when I came back to the hotel, I was parking by this winery here, the oldest winery. As I was going to the parking lot, right behind me was a car. Really, I was trying to reverse it into the parking space, and this guy come right behind me, and I was the only one in the parking lot. It's a tiny little place here, and hardly anyone, and it's about just after the sun's gone down and it's dark. And then this chap turns up, and I had my window down. I said, "How are you, sir? Are you okay?" And he rushed up to me, felt almost like drunk, I think the chap was. And he says, "Where's your passport? You taken? Where's your phone? Where's your camera?" I had the camera just like this, hanging down. I had my seatbelt across, no backpack. And as he reached into through the window, tried to grab and hold like this. And I had my phone in my hand. And because he tried to reach into the phone that was on the console, and I thought I was getting another Mexican and a Brazilian type robbery here. And I said, "Leave me alone, don't touch me." And I said, "No, you're taking photos of my daughter." I said, "What?" And he's trying to accuse me of taking photos of his daughter. I said, "Calm down. Compose yourself. You seems to be drunk," I said. "And you're dangerous, the way that you are treating me and trying to almost tailgate me as I was trying to park. And now you're trying to reach me and hurt me and trying to rob me, because I've had this experience before." I said, "Calm down." And I said, what are you talking about? I have nothing. I said, "Give me your phone, give me your phone." I said, "You're not going to have my phone?" He said, "I'm going to call your police." I didn't say a word. I've just had an interaction with the police anyway. And the chap just called the police. About 10-15 minutes later, the police turned up. Said, "Where's your camera? Have you got a laptop?" I said, "I don't carry a laptop. I don't carry iPads. I don't carry all this rubbish. All I have is my phone, my camera." I said, "You can have a look, but you can't have the phone in your hand." He said, "No, we need to go to the police station." "Okay, let's go to the police station." I said, he said, "Oh, you got to park the car." I said, "Yeah, I will come in your police car." So I got my backpack, my IDs, my phone, my everything. Nothing to hide. All I take is old buildings, ruins, border posts of the rivers and landscape, old historic churches where I go to every town, little village, and old buildings, farmland, grapes, wines, flowers. This is what I take photos of. People, old people that I engage with. I take short, brief interactions on a monthly basis. I post them on a montage of people, how when they cross my path and how I have interacted with them. And then suddenly I'm in the back of a police car here in Croatia, in a little village, and going to the police station. And then the two officers, one of the officers, the gentleman, was at in civvies they were, and they were at the reception. And so I said, "What's happened?" "You just checked my ID and everything else. Here I am back in the police station this time. What's happened?" And so I went up to the gentleman, said, "Okay, come, let's go to the room." And then the lady officer was in the office. So we sat down. I said, "Where's your camera? Where's your phone?" I said, "Here's this." It says, somebody's called to say that I have taken photos of their daughter." Of course, these people are, as I said, people are in different stages of life, and the news they hear is absolutely absurd. And of course, as you see in the southern border of the United States and our borders in Great Britain, and our island has been infiltrated, or how should I say, abused by all kinds of folks trying to turn up. And particularly today in the southern border for the last 3 years and years before that, decades on, the American southern border has been porous, and people have been pouring into that nation and destroying the way of life and the communities and innocent instant human beings like me, honest and freely speaking and expressing the deep grief of working hard honestly. Every tax penny is paid to the government, and never cheated on a single cent or a penny anywhere across any country, anywhere of all the countries that I've traveled to. 193, and this is my third visit in this former Yugoslavia, across borders in the old days, and then when the NATO bombed these countries and then split into 8 other countries. I've been to every one of those, and here I am in a little tiny corner village. Of course, the villagers must have called and told somebody, and he's a friend of a police officer and so on. So there I am in the police office talking about what has been going on. Anyway, so I explained and I showed all the photos. They wanted to see my garbage on the iPhone. I showed them the hidden folder on there too, with my facial recognition ID. There's no photos there hidden. There's no photos deleted from the phone. And I said, have a look. And the 2 kids who I was talking to, I think they're 14 years of age, they said, and junior high school. And I said, you need to preserve, and they were explaining about the corn drying little rooms that there were. And I said, these buildings should be preserved, protected, not knocked down and put new rubbish buildings like your little corner supermarket express that is a European knockoff, with plastic foods and Coca-Cola and things like that. You need to hold on to this land and what it produced that you must eat, and it shouldn't be coming from the other side of the world. And I explained that to the police officers also. And they had a look at my photos, videos, camera still photos. And they said, somebody's accused you of taking photos of... I said, I don't take photos. I have a 20-year-old daughter who's studying in a fantastic college, university, and trying to contribute to this world and people and straighten up their minds, just like I've been doing for the last entire life of me. And my little kid also doing the same and learning about different ways to interact with people and to know the land and how this world exists. And this is how my parents have taught me different stages of different knowledge and intelligence of human beings. And so for this reason, I'm never... I wanted to do the video yesterday, but I haven't slept for so long, and I didn't want to exaggerate what I'm saying now. I just wanted to explain how it was, and I thought it would be good. I went to sleep. I don't torment myself for what happened, because the experience I've had these lands across the world, even by robbery with gunpoint 6 times, knife to my neck, to my chest, to my rib cage, guns to my back of the rib cage, back of the neck, in various parts of the world. Here I am yesterday. I have no animosity, no enemies of my making. I don't know if people are there, but individuals are different set of mind, different ways, under the influence, of course. Say, okay, the guy just turned up and tried to almost rob my phone and camera and hurt me, and by grabbing me and pulling me whilst I was in the seat belt inside the car. And then the police officers were ever so apologetic. I took their numbers because I haven't done anything wrong, and I haven't made anything untoward towards anybody. Everything I do is to make sure that we don't harm or hurt or destroy our borders, because we talk about borders, we talk about sovereignty. Yes, the officers were great, and I thank them for coming and checking my ID. When you see somebody different looking, speaking different language, it was good on them. maybe somebody might have called the officers in the village, so they turned up, because it's a tiny little place, and I haven't seen a single tourist, single one, who doesn't is not from this region or this area. And everyone looks the same, and everyone is looking at me curious. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. And some people get involved with the conversation, like the kids, and yesterday 3 elderly men and 2 ladies who were giving me instructions where to go, what to do, and how to enjoy the different food and the winery. I mean, the people, I'm the only guest in there, so I'm like a royalty. You will see the video there. So I have no enemies and animosity, even me, because when you kill your animosity, when you have that in you, the enemy doesn't exist. It'll cease to exist. And it's just like that. And even after that, police officers checking me up on the public space, my IDs, I drove back to here, and then I get almost like a robbery, like a feeling. All those incidents are coming back to me, you know, and then I didn't react. I didn't become angry. I said, calm down, and you know, take your time, and whatever you have to do. If you have to call the police, call them, but you're not getting my camera or the phone, because I don't know who you are. You are aggressive. You are trying to be. You're trying to hurt me, and so the police turned up, and you know the story. I was ending up in the police. Look at these flowers with the bees, and this is what I've been talking about. Insects, how they expand their life, becoming an extension to the life. So yes, borders are what we really need, and we haven't got them in England or in America or in entire Western Europe, from France to Italy. These leaders must learn from these nations that are on the Eastern Bloc, who've been invited in to become part of the Eastern European expansion of the Western way of life. And everybody from far-flung places try to use these weak, porous borders, but the people, the communities are strong, and they call their local police office, and they turn up and check your ID, and where you go if you're not doing anything wrong. And that's the way it should be. And that's the way our leaders in Britain, our leaders in Italy, France, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, all these nations must do, particularly in America, Canada, Mexico. All these nations, they blame the government is corrupt. No. Nothing is corrupt. What is corrupt is an individual human being who has got the power in their hand to manipulate, to destroy. And that's what I'm saying. And I hope this message has been heard by many, because we need borders now that we have borders. Otherwise, everybody will be in one place, and the rest of the population, the rest of the land on the entire globe will be empty, right? Now that we have created these borders, and then they opened up into the European Union borders as one union, and now then they have what we call the free borders, and all is fine when you have human beings at correct levels of experience, or the equal levels of experience. Here we are in Eastern Europe. People don't have this luxury of catching up with the advantage and the luxury of being in the Western nations and educated there. There are different educational levels, intelligence levels, understanding. Their entire life has been in the village, or entire life has been in the countryside. And suddenly you get a smart device, and it tells you, and your news pours into your palm, and suddenly you are now, your mind has been constructed the way it's been portrayed in the news and media, and then suddenly everything is disastrous, I would say. Everything is confusing to people. So, but when you go to America, no, the southern border and the northern border has been decimated. The villages have been decimated. The litter and the mess left behind, and all those South Central American nations have been completely destructed and destroyed, and the way of life and the community has been completely destroyed. So that's what we got today on the world. But hats off to these two young officers who turned up yesterday, and the two officers were going back to that chap who, they all know each other, it seems. And I said, the chap who abused me yesterday, pretty much abused me, should be spoken to. I said he should come and apologize to me for what he did, accusing me of my truly human nature, or human kindness that I have for humanity and the expansion nature of this world, for everything that is life. So I should never be treated in the way that drunkard man was trying to do to me. So it was truly unfortunate, but that was the case, it seems. This is how it is. And now leaders in England and in Italy and France and Germany, Canada, Spain, Portugal, particularly United States of America, must learn from these. Yes, if they truly care, they must learn from the very good morning. Must learn from these tiny little new countries that had been formed in the recent times.